So the next movie I'm going to talk about is The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, directed and written by Terry Gilliam. And this is kind of an interesting film to talk about after Lovely Bones because it takes a lot of similar concepts and visual kind of ideas, but employs it in a completely different way. Terry Gilliam, of course, is really famous for his visual techniques, and he's done films such as Brazil and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, The Fisher King, and what was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Okay. He comes from the Monty Python school of people, and he kind of brings his sort of British sense of humor into his work. And I've been a big fan of Terry Gilliam for a while, especially Brazil and Munchausen and some of those. And I thought, as far as his work goes, this is pretty up there with some of his others. So this movie is about this is going to be a little difficult to explain. It's about a mysterious man who may or may have not lived centuries, who has made a deal with the devil, played by Tom Waits, to who can get more souls. So you kind of have a Faustian sort of plot going on, and his daughter gets involved, and on the road they meet another mysterious man who is may or may not be a con artist, played by the late Heath Ledger. This was his last movie before he died halfway through production. And through this, they have kind of like a carnival dog and pony act that they take around on carriage. And he has a magic mirror that when people enter it, they see their innermost desires and fears and perceptions of themselves, as well as other people's perceptions of them. It's a very Gilliam-esque movie, and if you've seen his other movies, this fits in really well with his oeuvre, and I really liked it a lot. I think the third act gets a little messy. It starts to get a little spastic, and you start to lose the plot a little bit, and it gets kind of confusing, but I think it eventually ties in. And I really liked all of the performances. Of course, the famous thing about this movie is that because Heath Ledger died halfway through production, his role is also shared by three other actors, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell. And when I first heard this, I wondered how they were going to make it work, but I thought they came up with a really clever way of working in all those actors around the same role. So, yeah, I gave this on a B+.
A B+. This one was definitely a good movie. I enjoyed it. I had some qualms with it. I liked everything outside of the actual imagination world. I liked the real seedy stuff, the grungy London, and the really greasy-haired Heath Ledger and the homeless man pretending to be 1,000,000 or 1,000 years old and stuff.
Yeah.
That aspect I really enjoyed, but whenever it went into, I got really, I don't know. It's like, they jump into the fantasy world, which I understood its point to be there.
Yeah.
But it's so different from the other part of it that I think they could have played more with kept it darker. I think it became too happy in parts. Like the Jude Law segment is.
Oh, with the ladders.
Is my least favorite.
I would agree. I think that's the least successful Imaginarium sequence. But what about like the cool stuff with Mr. Nick, played by Tom Waits? I mean, there was some dark stuff there in the fantasy realm.
No, there's still the good part, like the dance. There's some dancing cops and stuff. And, whenever it went from it was all about choice, and whenever it hit the middle point, and you had the really dark, gloomy, dead trees everywhere and fire, and then right next to the happy land and the gondola. But no, it was fun. I really liked the seducing of Dr. Parnassus's daughter too. That was a lot of fun, and the boy, the crush boy.
Oh yeah, I have him in here in my notes. Andrew Garfield played Anton. Yeah,
he was a lot of fun. He brought a lot of good comic relief.
Yeah,
but
I liked the love triangle between him and Heath Ledger and the girl as well. I thought that was a fun little character thing there.
So, but overall I had a lot of fun with this movie, so I gave it a B.
A B? Cool.
I was a little disappointed in it so I wasn't quite A material, but
yeah.
I still felt it definitely deserves a good watch, maybe two.
Well, Terry Gilliam is he's in there with like David Lynch and David Cronenberg. He's one of these mad scientist kind of movie makers, and his stuff oftentimes splits audiences in half as far as what they like and don't like. And they usually aren't appreciated until years later. And I think this one's going to be the same way.
Yeah.
But I think definitely you can see it's very sad that Heath Ledger died during production of this movie because he was becoming a really, really strong actor. And his performance in this, I think, is just as good as his Joker performance, but in a supportive way.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely enjoyed Heath Ledger. Colin Farrell was surprisingly good in this. Usually, I'm usually anti Colin Farrell, and I was actually rather surprised by him.
No, yeah, he did really good. I also really liked. Well, it was eerie. There's a lot of allusions to death and young death, and I mean the first scene you see Heath Ledger, he's hanging from a bridge. So it's very strange, but
definitely strange.